Hello, I'm Mahmoud Mansi from HR TV. We are in Dubai right now in the HR Summit and Expo, and we are thrilled to meet our guest, Mr. Irfan Hafeez.
Thank you, ma'am.
He has 28 experience in learning and development, working in different organizations, and 8 years ago, he started his own company. Can you tell us more about your company, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mahmoud. Our company is Human Development Solutions. After working for corporate world for 20 years, 8 years back, I spread my wings and took a leap of faith to set up this company, management consulting firm. And Alhamdulillah, with the grace of God, we are now working with most of the large local corporates and multinationals, helping them developing their talent.
That's excellent. I guess this is the dream story of every professional person.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your company is, what I found very interesting is that your niche market is learning and development consulting.
Correct.
So can you please share with us, tell us more about your solutions?
Yes. First of all, what makes our organization unique is the fact that our solutions are very experiential, I would say discovery based. So you must have heard of this notion that if I tell you something, it's true for me, but when you discover something, it's true for you. So our entire value proposition is built around discovery based learning. So that is something which participant finds really unique. They discover learnings in this process of learning and development interventions. Secondly, what is really unique is that we do this hand-holding process even after the program is finished. So generally what happens is that training has been looked upon as an event, but in human development solution, what drives us that for us is a journey, it's a path. So this is how we position it to our clients also, or our partners, is that our real work starts when the intervention finishes, and it's a journey that we go on along with the participants, I think, which we do very differently. Thirdly, I would say is that we bring the line management as one of the key stakeholders to drive the learning process. So it's not they're just nominating people, but they are weaved into and immersed into that design phase, and they become one of the key stakeholders actually to drive learning for their team members and all that. And something which just sits right on the top of these three elements that I said is return on investment.
Please, if I can ask you about something. So I find this very interesting, learning as a journey, because many people in organizations face a challenge. They can have an excellent 3-day workshop or course training, and after that they don't know how to apply it. They don't get the support from the management who actually paid for them to get enrolled in the course to apply this. Another challenge is the return on investment. So how do you connect these? So how do you help them apply what they actually learned? And how do you get the line managers and the top management engaged? And how do you show them the return on investment?
Well, that's a very good question, Mahmoud. For most of the learning interventions, or let me give you an example of classroom interventions, as I mentioned earlier, it's just more of an event. So what happens is finishes and everybody has a great time and then they move on. But with us, what we drive as a design in that entire, whether it's pre, during and post, is that when participants are walking out of any learning intervention, they specifically know what are they going to do differently on a Sunday morning. Wow. That's very important. Now, that's not actually the trick. So fair enough, for example, if we take you as an example, you even write down that, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z differently on a Sunday morning. What happens is that when you go back to work, reality hits you. And as much as you want to, those
The
elements,
environment is not helping.
things fall through the cracks. So what we do is that we do post-program engagement and hand-holding with those participants through digital platforms, which may be micro-learning, learning reinforcements, coaching, and make sure that, for example, the participant remain engaged. So to answer your question, the first thing is staying with the participant even after the workshop through different platforms to make sure that the person stay on course. That's number one. Number two is that we follow Agile Approach, whereby we make sure that when we designed everything, the whole program, as time will pass by, and as I mentioned, our programs are not events, they are journeys, we very carefully create these slots in this journey where we look at things very objectively, that what is working, what needs to be changed, what needs to be, we need to continue with. And we tweak elements to make sure that it stays relevant in the life of that participant in that organization. So that Agile Approach really, really helps. So that's number two, which really helps. And as I mentioned earlier, we very strongly feel that line management has to play a very pivotal role in that. So we constantly check. So if Mahmoud is the person who's gone through this intervention, he has to, Mahmoud's respective line manager, you're spending time with the business. So we need to know that things are working or not. Are there observable behavioral change or not? And if it is there, then that's brilliant. That needs to be encouraged. And if it is not there, then what do we need to do differently? So that's this line management thing that really, really help us.
That's very interesting. It makes me want to ask you more about the return on investment. So do you think that, for example, you made the course, you made the program, you've done the coaching after that. Should this be linked to performance management and the performance of people and the performance of the department in order to measure the results, or how is it done?
All right. Now to start with, when we are developing a program, designing a program and all that, that particular program is being designed or being delivered for that particular client because there's a specific need. So we, in our stakeholder engagement that is done prior to the program, where we meet different stakeholders and design everything, it is very clear that what outcomes we need to focus on, which this program has to deliver, which eventually is going to impact the performance of that individual, that department, or that particular segment of the business. So everything, the return on investment is driving out of the fact that identifying the business need, articulating that into the very specific outcomes, KPIs that is going to impact, then delivering the training program, and then post-program engagement through different platforms, micro-learning, learning reinforcement, gamification, and then coaching, and then taking it back right till the end. The journey started here, and then in the end, we say that this is where we started, and this is how it's gone ahead and impacted the business qualitatively as well as quantitatively.
I see one of the unique things about your solutions is that you're giving a whole package. Gamification, coaching, mentoring, classroom. You're giving the whole package. You're not just giving one thing, because each actually has its own benefit. You cannot say, I'll do this instead of that. So I'm sure through this journey, you get lots of feedbacks from the people and the participants. What kind of feedbacks? What do they like most about them?
Yeah. What they first of all love the most is that they love the relevance of the content. So they, what they are going through this learning interventions, may it be classroom or may it be digital, that is extremely relevant content. So
they're not wasting their time.
So they feel that a time, effort, resources, energy has been invested in developing that content which is real as far as their life is concerned. So that's the first thing that they really, really love about that. Number two is that we really, really stretch them. We stretch them. So it's not 2 days or 1 day away from work. It's not. It's an investment in them, in which would help them in do things differently. So the team that we have, these are a bunch of real professionals.
So you have them challenge themselves.
Absolutely. Challenge themselves, stretch their muscle, thinking muscle, to do justice to that opportunity. It is very important to understand that, generally people come against the brick wall is because they feel that they are resourceless. Our primary focus is how to make them resourceful. And it's not going to happen by, for example, me telling you or you telling me what to do. It is helping you, creating those connections for you to that, how you can access inside within you those elements which you can bring out to create solutions for yourself. So I think that's something which is not easy, but that's something that we do. And third, and the most important thing, is fun. They just love it. Our discovery base, the learning, we do lots of experiential stuff, which is just pure fun. If you see some of the pictures of our programs, instantly just bring a big smile on your face, because you can tell that these people are just having
I'm already smiling because I'm imagining as you're speaking.
Yeah, that's true. They're one hell of a time that they are having. So yes, that drives, that are some of the core things that they love about our programs.
Well, excellent. If we can ask you an additional question for your time.
Sure.
A challenge now is the digital world with the learning. So how important do you think digital is?
Once again, very, very good question. Digital is the future, and as the bus going around, even in this HR summit, you see so many stalls. So I just want to step back and just say, conventional learning was predominantly around the macro learning, if you may call it, was that a learner saying that I want to learn something new. Vis-a-vis today's reality is the micro learning, which is around I want to learn now. So digitalization is not about just phone learning, I would say. Digitalization, according to the research and to our belief is as well, is that taking learning to the employee. And this is one of the great success we have as Human Development Solutions, is that we have managed to come up with these solutions which are bite-sized solutions, may it be 2-minute videos, may it be a library of doing things differently, which the learner just in time can access and can just, which would help that person to do their job a little bit better. It was this is a staggering percentage, like 70% of the workforce, they go to these search engines to find out how to do their certain elements that they are struggling with. Just imagine if the organization, which we help organizations doing, that they create these in-house resources, these bite-sized learnings, these micro learnings, these reinforcement, which people can, can go to and access, and then and of course it's going to have a huge impact on their performance. And
it's exactly this point is very interesting, because what I find in the digital learning world, it gives a fair opportunity to everyone.
Absolutely.
Who wants to learn and to develop.
Absolutely. And in today's time and age, as I mentioned to you earlier, that learning has to go to all the employees, and how we do that in a fun way, which is gamification. We have, like, for example, let me just share with you. In fact, in the HR summit also, we are demoing one of the app that we have developed. It's a mentoring app. We know that generally organizations are suffering because for the likes of Mahmouds who are very experienced, have got X number of years of experience, and and have sweated blood to get to the position where they are, where he is. What are organizations doing to leverage that knowledge and that experience? So that's a clear need. These young people, these Emiratis, for example, coming in from, it is one of our core responsibilities. In fact,
lots of ideas and energy.
Yeah. So how do we created an app through which, which is going to take care of connecting the mentor and the mentee and create some objectivity. So it's not just we have been paired and I'm just coming and sitting over here and what do you want and what do you want and just having a general conversation. Through this app, there's very specific strategic business focus areas on which the mentor can talk about and can bring in his experience or her experience into it, and then the mentee have very specific resource pool from where they can prepare themselves even before the mentoring session. It's really beautiful. If you'll have time, just day after tomorrow we are demoing. I'm sure you're going to...
Excellent. Irfan, thank you so much for sharing this journey.
It's my pleasure.
And I guess now, including myself, we now have the map to go through the learning and development journey after this interview.